This is a sports catastrophe production.
Hey there, Heather, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter, welcoming you to another sports catastrophe on this day. And on this day, January 26th, in 2003, one of the most weird Super Bowls happened. Yes, that's it. Super Bowl 37, 2003, with the Oakland Raiders and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Or as I call them, the Fuccaneers. So anyway, Super Bowl 37 culminated in San Diego at Qualcomm Stadium, January 26, 2003. As we all know, the Bucs defeated the Raiders 48-21 to tie Super Bowl 35 for the seventh largest margin victory in a Super Bowl, and the Buccaneers won their first ever Super Bowl from their first ever finals appearance because they never went to the Super Bowl before this year. It was the sixth Super Bowl to be held the week after the conference championship games. As everyone knows that they usually have the conference championship games, and then the next week would be the Pro Bowl, or an off week, if you will. The last time that happened was Super Bowl 36. It is also the last Super Bowl in January in history because they have made it permanently. Super Bowl will be the first Sunday in February since 2004. So basically, they made the Super Bowl go to February permanently. Of course, this year, we had the conference finals, and now we'll have a week off, assuming for the Pro Bowl. And then the next week, we'll have the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. This was the first Super Bowl in which the league's number one offense took on the number one defense, the Bucs. So basically, something had to give. It was actually called the Gruden Bowl because the primary storyline was that John Gruden, who was the head coach of the Raiders from 1998 to 2001, actually got in some kind of a trade with Tampa Bay to be their head coach. So Tampa, being Gruden's new team, got to their first Super Bowl, whereas his old team still got to the Super Bowl, their fifth ever at 11-5 season. It was even called the Pirate Bowl because of both teams' pirate-themed names. So yeah, that's weird. So the Raiders actually had a 4-point lead of favorites. They were +4. So basically, it looked like they were 4-point favorites. But the Tampa defense dominated. Gannon threw 5 interceptions. 3 of them returned for touchdowns. So 3 pick sixes. That's amazing. The Bucs sacked Gannon 5 times and scored 34 points, straight points, to be up 34-3. And Dexter Jackson, who took 2 interceptions back 34 yards, was named Super Bowl MVP. The second safety behind Jake Scott, and the third defensive back ever to be Super Bowl MVP. The Dixie Chicks sang the national anthem. Shania Twain was part of the halftime show, which is great because it was the last time a Canadian artist had performed at the halftime show until this upcoming Super Bowl with The Weeknd coming by. ABC broadcast the game with Al Michaels and John Madden. San Francisco actually was supposed to get Super Bowl 37, and they announced plans for their new stadium, which meant that the Super Bowl would be played at their new park. However, stadium plans failed, and the NFL reopened the bidding for the game. San Diego was given it in May 1999. Obviously, you want to put it in California still. Miami was also considered. This Super Bowl, the Super Bowl in 2003, was the last played in California until the famous Super Bowl 50 in 2016. So, man, California lost out. Oakland had a crappy stadium. San Diego stadium was fine, but a lot of people didn't really like it. And San Francisco didn't have a stadium suitable for hosting a Super Bowl. Candlestick Park basically was not that well attended and all that. Of course, San Francisco lost the Giants to AT&T Park and all that. Later, but here's the funny thing. In 2003, California would actually host the Stanley Cup Finals because the Anaheim Ducks were in the Stanley Cup Finals against the New Jersey Devils. Anaheim would host games 3, 4, and 6 and win all 3 of them. Sadly, though, the Devils won all 4 games on their own home ice, so basically the Devils won that cup, making it only the second time in history the same state hosted the Super Bowl and Stanley Cup Finals in the same year. California 10 years earlier had that mark in 93 when Pasadena, aka Rose Bowl, hosted Super Bowl 27, where Arizona basically screwed that up by announcing that MLK Day will not be paid. And of course, as we all know, the LA Kings went to the Stanley Cup Finals in the 93 Stanley Cup Finals against the Montreal Canadiens, and thankfully Canadians can celebrate as Montreal won that series in 5 games. However, again in 2016, it would be later on in 2016 it would happen. Super Bowl 50 was in San Francisco, and the Sharks got to the finals against Pittsburgh. Sadly, though, Pittsburgh got them in 6. So John Gruden basically wanted to help the Raiders out in his first leadership. After all, he came back to the Raiders, and he's still the head coach as of right now. So basically, they signed Rich Gannon to a contract, and Gannon basically helped the Raiders jump up to the top 5 offenses. The Raiders were the best team in the AFC West in 2001 with a 12-4 mark. Best rushing offense. However, Baltimore came into Oakland and stomped them 16-3 in the conference finals. However, the Raiders would sign Jerry Rice and Trace Armstrong after that disappointment. But sadly, though, they lost to the Pats in the tuck rule game. Now, truthfully, I thought that the Pats got away with it because of the tuck rule. All that. So basically, Al Davis did not have a good salary for coaches in the league. He was basically a cheapskate. Davis decided to trade Gruden's rights to Tampa for 4 draft picks. Kind of like what Robert Kraft did with the Jets to get Bill Belichick in 2000. So the Bucs gave 2 first-rounders and 2 second-rounders and $8 million for Gruden. Which is amazing. I don't know why Al Davis would just basically play hardball. Thanks a lot, Al Davis, you penny-pinching piece of shit. So anyway, Tampa was basically known as the lovable losers. Only 3 playoff appearances in their first 20 seasons. One of them, in 1979-80, they almost got to the Super Bowl, despite them being that being their 4th NFL season all time. So 4th or 3rd? No, it's 4th. In their 4th season, they almost got to the Super Bowl, which would have been amazing. I mean, they hosted the NFC title game against the LA Rams, but they lost 9-0. If memory serves me right, the Rams that year actually had a better record than the Bucs in 79-80. But because Tampa won the division and the Rams didn't, then Tampa got in. No, I think Tampa got 10 wins that year. Can't remember. As is, Tampa's Tony Dungy was made head coach in 96, and he basically rebuilt the defense around some core players like Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, Ronnie Barber, and John Lynch. And they basically were a great defense. All that. However, Dungy basically was canned because Tampa just couldn't get the playoff wins, and they always had a bad offense. Well, the Bucs actually weren't that good. They were 25th in the league in total yards gained, 5,222. Brad Johnson did make the Pro Bowl, throwing for 3,049 yards, but only 22 touchdowns, but only 6 interceptions. Michael Pittman was a good guy. Mike Allstott, the fullback with a heart of gold, did well. Keyshawn Johnson was on that Tampa team with getting over 1,000 yards receiving. Keenan McCardell, former Jags guy, did so himself. The Bucs defense was the strength of the team, leading the NFL in total defense. Pass defense, points allowed, 12.3 a game. That's amazing. Passing touchdowns allowed, picks, and a poser passing rating. Basically, they had a lot of Pro Bowls. Bill Callahan, who was the Raiders' offensive coordinator, was made head coach after Gruden's departure. But the Raiders still were one of the best teams in the AFC and led the league in passing yards and second in total yards gained. Gannon just had a great season. Jerry Rice got to his 13th Pro Bowl in 2002-03. Tim Brown was still there, 15-year veteran with the Raiders. And Jerry Porter was a great young prospect, 9 touchdowns catch. Charlie Gardner was made the starting running back and all that. He was the AFC equivalent to Marshall Faulk because he basically was a good runner, but he could also catch the ball. Tyrone Wheatley also helped too. And Pro Bowlers Lincoln Kennedy at guard and center Barron Robbins were going to basically be big and all that. The Raiders didn't have a good defense, but Rod Woodson got 8 interceptions and returned 2 for pick sixes. And Bill Romanowski was still playing, despite the fact that he played for the Niners and the Broncos. So basically, Romanowski was 4-0 in Super Bowls because he was around for San Francisco in the 89 and 90 Super Bowls, and Denver for their back-to-backs in 98 99. So the playoffs happened and all that. So anyway, we'll concentrate on the 2003 NFL playoffs. This was the first season that the league hit from 6 divisions to 8 divisions. So that means that they said a wildcard team could no longer host a playoff game during the opening wildcard round. That meant that at worst, well, the top 2 teams still went to the division round, but 3rd and 4th would be division winners, not wildcards. So anyway, the playoffs started off in 2003 with one of the biggest shocks. Cleveland actually winning a playoff game against Pittsburgh until the 4th quarter. Yes, we all know Cleveland beat Pittsburgh in this year's playoffs, but in 2002-03, they had a chance to knock Pittsburgh off at their field, and they failed. Tommy Maddox led them to a big comeback. Pittsburgh beat Cleveland. The Jets shocked Indy 41-0 at Giant Stadium the day before, which was huge. And, of course, that's when Mike Vanderjagt went on Canadian TV and basically said Peyton Manning didn't have the stuff, and then Peyton basically badmouthed him during the Pro Bowl. The 1 and 2 seeds were Oakland and Tennessee. Tennessee won on a field goal to knock off Pittsburgh in the AFC divisional round. Oakland, at the 1 seed, crushed the Jets by 20, hosted Tennessee in the AFC title game, and beat them 41-24 to get to the Super Bowl. Whereas, in the NFC, the number 4 seed San Francisco 49ers also made a massive comeback against the New York Giants. So 2 massive comebacks on the same day, January 5th, 2021. No, 2003, pardon. But anyway, yeah, the Giants choked. Giants actually had a field goal attempt, but unfortunately, it was a bad snap, and they threw down the field. And they kind of got pass interference, and that should have given the Giants 15 yards and another try at the field goal. However, the officials made a giant mistake, and Steve Mariucci only said, "Bummer." Poor Troy Junkin. He doesn't deserve to get blamed for that. Atlanta went into Green Bay. Well, Green Bay was the 3 seed. Atlanta went into Green Bay at Lambeau Field and did something no team ever did at Lambeau Field. Beat the Packers in the playoffs. That's right. Since from the old days till 2002-03, no team went into Lambeau Field and beat Green Bay in Green Bay. But Atlanta did it. Michael Vick did it, 27-7. That set them up against the number 1 NFC seed Eagles, which they got beaten 20-6. Tampa hosted San Francisco and crushed them 31-6. Then that meant Tampa went to Philly, and everyone thought Philly was going to win it. After all, Fenway Stadium was not known as a good place. It was a hostile place for visitors, and Tampa had never won a playoff game in which the temperature hit below 32 Fahrenheit. Man, we were wrong. Tampa beat Philly, shockingly, and got to the Super Bowl. So anyway, the Raiders entered the game favored to win their first Super Bowl in 19 years. They became the first franchise ever to hit the Super Bowl in 4 decades, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 2000s. Yes, the 90s, they didn't appear in the Super Bowl, Oakland or Los Angeles. Paul Tagliabue actually made a statement as commissioner. He banned all future trades for coaches involving draft choices because it will compromise the draft. However, Oakland was not out of the woods yet. Their biggest problem was Barrett Robbins, their starting center, went missing the day before the Super Bowl. He was actually admitted to San Diego Hospital and spent time rehab at the Betty Ford Clinic and given a bipolar disorder diagnosis. He had a manic episode and ended up partying in Tijuana and thinking that Oakland won the Super Bowl. Adam True had to replace Robbins. ABC got the game with Al Michaels and John Madden doing the stuff. And a funny stat, the NFC became 6-0 on Super Bowls broadcast on ABC, which was amazing. However, that would be broken 3 years later when ABC, it's a 3-year switcheroo, like NBC, CBS, Fox, and ABC, well, then turns to NBC. Basically, they do the Super Bowl every 3 years. So, yeah. ABC would actually broadcast 3 of the 4 major sports championships. They did They did football, they did basketball, and they did hockey. As everyone knows, ABC/ESPN does have the rights to the NBA Finals. They did the NHL until NBC got the rights to them in 2005. And then, of course, they don't do baseball. They usually don't do baseball. So Fox has done the World Series for years. So yeah, it's amazing. So basically, everyone loved the episode. Loved the Super Bowl commercial of Terry Tate, office linebacker. All that. So anyway, as we all know, the Dixie Chicks sang the national anthem. And there was a lot of stuff. The 1972 Dolphins did the coin flip. So yeah. Well, as we said, the Bucks crushed the Raiders 48-21. Oakland scored the first points on a Janikowski field goal. Then Gramatica hit 2 field goals before Allstott got a touchdown run. Brad Johnson gave one to Keenan McCardle for a touchdown. McCardle got another touchdown reception from Johnson. Dwight Smith did a pick 6, make it 34-3. Oakland did do fine. Gannon to Porter in the third quarter for a touchdown, but they went for 2 and missed. Eric Johnson got a punt block return for a touchdown, but they didn't score the extra point. And now when Rice did it from Gannon. So it was 34-21 with 6 minutes left. But sadly, though, Derek Brooks and Dwight Smith did pick 6s. And basically, game was over at 48-21, which was amazing. In the end, Jerry Rice and Bill Romanowski did join Gene Upshaw as the only players to appear in Super Bowls in 3 decades. And Romanowski tried to join Charles Haley to win 5 Super Bowl rings. Haley was a 2-time champion with the Niners and 3 times with the Cowboys. And the Raiders became the first team to appear in Super Bowls under 4 head coaches. John Rauch in Super Bowl II. I thought John Madden was in Super Bowl II. John Madden, Super Bowl 11, and Tom Flores in Super Bowls 15 and 18, which was amazing. There was a lot of aftermath and all that. But the teams had a massive decline and all that. That Super Bowl in 2003, that Super Bowl victory in 2003 was the last time until this past season that the Bucks have actually won a playoff game. And the Raiders went 14 straight years after this Super Bowl without a winning record and didn't qualify until the 2016 playoff. And they still have not won a postseason game since the 2003, 02-03 AFC Championship, which is amazing. There were a lot of people who actually thought that Bill Callahan of Oakland threw the game for some reason. But no, that's not what happened. The problem was that because Oakland had a John Gruden-like playbook, the problem was that, Oakland failed to change the plays in their playbook from the John Gruden system, and that's what cost them dearly. Basically, Tampa knew what Oakland was going to do because, they never changed the plays. That's why Gruden outsmarted the Raiders. I feel for them. But you know what? This was a very terrible Super Bowl for Raiders fans and for Baron Robbins, who never recovered from it. Okay, fine. It was okay, I guess. Yeah, of course I picked Oakland to win that Super Bowl, and I fucked up. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.